It's time for the main event. It's the Shoeshine.
All right. It's your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas, with another episode of the Shoeshine. You know what we do every Monday night, late at night, we get together to talk about all the doings in the sport of boxing, the sweet science that we love so much. Let me get over to my co-host from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Drew Evo. What's up, partner? Did you enjoy the boxing this weekend?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
It was
be honest.
It was a great weekend. But Drew, let's rewind to Thursday night, because last Monday, for everyone who caught the Shoeshine, they might remember that we went with our picks, and usually we do that at the end of the show, and we both agreed on Chocalatito, and miraculously, you made your appearance on HCP's The Roundtable, where we were both on there, and your boy Dave from the 408 changed his mind and went with Jose Martinez. To much everyone's laughter, I changed my pick. Drew, typically I don't do that, and you had to rub it in my face on social media, on Twitter's, talking about that I don't ever change my picks. I don't know what I was doing. It was a moment of buffoonery for me to change my mind on something. First of all, shout out to Chocalatito, Roman Gonzalez, a living legend, which I admit is a living legend, a future Hall of Famer, who has beaten 20 of 21 of his Mexican opponents, and one of those, to El Gallo Estrada, was a controversial loss. So he's basically beaten everybody. So come Thursday night, after watching a lot of behind-the-scenes footage, your boy Dave from the 408 thought Jose Martinez was going to come up with a 3-for-3 upset in the 115-pound division. Let's just say, Drew, I went with an emotional pick, as well as using my sound judgment and better use of the facts. And we all saw how it played out. It was a masterclass performance, a complete butt whooping. Jose Martinez was not on his level. We'll get to that fight in just a moment, Drew. But Friday night, there was some really, really exciting stuff in the city of Fresno, California. You know, everybody was getting down. Drew, by the way, Drew, have you seen gas prices, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude. I don't know about gas prices, but I had something here, bro. Let me see. Where'd it go? I had something really funny. Well, anyways, Drew, I can't even afford to drive down to Fresno, California. And I remember you joking about my new car, that did I get a Tesla? Bro, I wish I got a Tesla now. Now I really do wish I had gotten a Tesla, because I'm tripping off of my pick on that sports car that I just recently bought. I don't know when I'm going to drive it with gas prices being as high as it is. But let's get to Fresno, bro, because I follow Boxing Vitals Rick V from Fresno area, and he had posted this. Dude, like always, you know, we've seen this at StubHub and Carson, but there's usually people get down and they like to throw hands. And I got a little clip of something he had posted on Twitter. This fight turned into quite a melee. I think this fight happened during the undercard, Drew. You can see it got pretty heated. A lot of people were thrown out. This is what I call fan interaction. Latinos behaving badly. But that's nothing, Drew, because this is kind of typical stuff, man. I just want to reiterate to all the boxing fans, you're only hurting our own community when we go out there and we fight with each other. At the end of the day, it makes it less likely for your city to want to put on an event if there's violence and arrests, stabbings or shootings or anything, or even this, man. You're just hurting the boxing community from bringing shows to your city. It's not a good look. It's not the worst thing that could happen, but remember, we're there to see professional fighters and support them, not get involved in shenanigans and shit like this where people could get seriously hurt. And at the end of the day, you might get arrested. That's just my take. But that ain't shit, Drew, because this weekend, even worse, bro. I've sung, you know, you hear me sing mariachi sometimes, right? I sang a song about a place called Querétaro. That's the state where my grandmother was from, in Guanajuato. And there was a soccer game in Mexico this weekend where initially they reported something like 17 people were murdered, were basically killed at a soccer game between the city of Querétaro and Atlas, another professional soccer team. Later on, the government refuses to acknowledge how many people were actually killed. But bro, we're in the middle of like some hard times. Like, this ain't the shit. We don't need to go to professional sporting events and literally try to kill each other over our pick or our rivals, man. It's just bananas, Drew. What's your thought on that, bro? Do you have a thought on that? On a fan behavior? I mean, you're from Philadelphia, man. They say, Philly Eagles fans, some of the craziest fans in the NFL.
Man, those guys are crazy. They just, I don't know. It's just tell you the truth, I've seen worse fights in the stands.
At Phillies games?
Not
Phillies, at Eagles games?
Nah, I've seen worse fights everywhere.
Oh,
we bombed Santa with snowballs.
I guess that wasn't shit, man. But you know what? Nonetheless, man, sometimes people want to bring families to these boxing matches. So you're putting even other people's families and children's at risk. If you want to get in the ring and fight, man, I suggest you join a local boxing club or an MMA school and get in there and sign the waivers and release forms and get your ass in sparring. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to do it. Shout out to Nando Lamas. Let me know if you went down to Fresno in the chat, man. I've just been playing Rick V's boxing video, which I think got 10,000 views on YouTube, man. People love to see scuffles in the audience. But aside from that, man, there was a great showcase of young talent in the Fresno fight. I want to give a shout out. There's a kid from the Bay Area, Drew, and I want to give him a shout out real quick. His name is Sheehy, Charlie Sheehy, and I've been hearing a lot about him. He got signed by Top Rank, and he was on the undercard of that. And what's most impressive about Charlie Sheehy is that he has wins against Ryan Garcia, superstar boxer Ryan Garcia. He's got a win over him and a win over Virgil Ortiz in the amateurs. He's from Brisbane, California, which is literally this small little unincorporated town next to San Francisco, California. People who know boxing and Top Rank gave him a great signing bonus. Peter Khan is his manager, which happens to be the manager for Andy El Tiburon Vences, who we've interviewed before. Xander Zayas, Peter Khan. So Peter Khan knows how to pick talent. Nando Lamas is saying, he looked good. Bro, I'm hearing a lot of good things about him. It was his professional debut. Very exciting to see somebody from the Bay Area. We have not had a world champion from the Bay Area materialize. So I'm hoping good things for this young prospect right now, man. Also, Drew, I don't know if you remember Richard Torres, silver medalist from the Olympics that we just saw win silver recently. He was there making his professional debut. And people were comparing him to a young version of, I mean, he's not very tall, and he's not, I think he came in around 240 pounds. They're making a lot of comparisons, Rocky Marciano and stuff like that. Drew, did you get a chance to see him in his professional debut?
Yes, I did. I wasn't impressed.
You think he's kind of, what do you think?
I think a big heavyweight's going to beat the shit out of him.
Well, he had to fight for that gold. He had a chance to win the gold against that, it was Eastern European Russian fighter who was very, very tall. But that guy's got his numbers. Apparently, he's never beat that Russian fighter, who's also a professional. He did knock him out one time. So a bigger fighter like that may give him trouble. I think he would make an excellent cruiserweight. But if he's floating around 240 pounds, I don't know, bro. We'll see, man. He still has a bright future ahead of him. Top Rank thinks so. So I'll be excited to see it. For right now, you weren't too unimpressed. We'll see how his career pans out, man. Just some of the young talent.
Here's the main issue with that. He's 6'2", weighs 240. They should at least try to get him to take a crack at cruiserweight for a while before fighting as a heavyweight, because I just don't see him going anywhere as a heavyweight. With this talent pool and everything, these taller, bigger heavyweights are going to take advantage of him.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of young, amazing prospects like Jared Anderson over at Top Rank. So I think they're going to take the development slow, and we never know, man. If there was a reason for a bridgerweight, it'd be somebody like him, somebody that's around the size of the smaller fighters. We'll see how his development goes. But also, Drew, from Stockton, Gabe Flores, I just brought up Andy El Tiburon Vences. Andy El Tiburon Vences, who we've interviewed from San Jose, California. He had that tough loss against an Irish fighter last time on that defunct network. What was it called? Trilla. He co-mained of that Trilla fight. He needs a win at 130 pounds really, really bad. And he was at the fight in Fresno. And he had some choice words to say about Stockton's Gabe Flores, man, because apparently I think they've got a beef, man. Gabe Flores and him have a beef. And, Gabe Flores was on that undercard. He needed a win badly because he got rather beat up in his last fight against a fighter that Andy El Tiburon Vences also faced. And they both got beat up by this guy. What's his name? Sonteo, Media, help me out with him, man. That guy is vicious. The guy who beat up both of them, essentially, they were completely unprepared for him. El Venado Lopez. Nando already with the criticism. Gabe Flores is awful, feather-fisted, and undisciplined. Those are all questions that still remain for me because he was fighting kind of a journeyman Mexicali-type fighter, and he just barely edged it out. Drew, you're shaking your head. People are calling for him to possibly separate himself from his father and make a big move. He's got Andre Ward as somewhat of an advisor, bro. He still hasn't achieved his, he's not at peak yet. Is there room for Gabe Flores to improve? Or is he going to fizzle out at 130 pounds? Some people were even calling for him to be removed from the Top Rank stable after this fight.
I don't even think he's going to be anything. I'm not really high on him. It was bad matchup making in his last fight.
The one where he got hurt, and I couldn't think of the guy's name. El Venado Lopez.
It was a horrible matchmaking by Top Rank. I really don't see that. I really don't see Gabe Flores as a champion. Not even as a guy that's going to be a mandatory for somebody. That's how bad that's how really bad I think Gabe Flores is going to be.
Well, Santea Media says he's been at 130 for 5 years, so you think he would grow into that man strike. But the question is that he doesn't have any notable knockouts. He seems to go the distance every time, and now they seem to be laboring to get him to the distance and to get the win. In that fight against Venado Lopez, he was seriously hurt and possibly knocked out on his feet, and he didn't want his father to stop the fight, so he kept going on. He's a soldier, in my opinion. He's got a big heart, but you don't want him to get hurt. So my question is will moving up the lightweight make a difference for him in particular? We know a lot of fighters lately have been like, man, I need to move up, and that's why I'm coming up short in my performances, but we know that the lightweight division is stacked with so many killers. So I'm saying this, man. I think Andy Vences, who's nearly 30 years old, or has now crossed that threshold and has had a hard time being ranked as a contender in 130, he called out Jamel Herring. I think this is a good fight. This is a fight between San Jose and Stockton. Both of these guys need to continue to win to move forward, man. They definitely need to. Nando Lamas says most overhyped Valley fighter since Vicente Escobar. Oh, man.
If nobody feels your power, nobody thinks you have power, they're just going to work through you.
So I think
that's what Gabe Flores is.
I think Andy Vences, who was there, made the drive down to Fresno from San Jose, saw that performance, saw something he liked, saw something that he could exploit. He's looking for another fight. This could be potentially a good fight. Both of these guys would probably go the distance against each other, and there'd be very little risk of hurting each other so much. So I like that. Hey, shout out to everybody who's joining us now. Thank you for coming over from Power Punchers with Calix and D-Style. Shout out to HCP. Hit the like, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. I appreciate everyone who is here. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Top Rank card on Friday, and where does fighters like Gabe Flores go? They had a lot of young talent. Sonteo, even Hector Tanahara was on that card. He needed a win badly. Hector Tanahara got knocked out by El Camarón, a Golden Boy fighter that I'm very high on. We'll see. He ended up getting a split draw in that fight. So there were some interesting matchups leading up. It was a great card overall. The only complaint people seem to have on ESPN Plus is for people like you, Drew, on the East Coast, is that shit goes on too long. 6 hours on ESPN Plus. 6 hours. I don't even know what time the main event get, but let's get to the main event. By the way, guys, the phone line is open. If you want to call in, talk to us about right now. We're going to get into the Jose Ramirez who badly needed. Hey, this guy, Jose Ramirez, had 2 titles, went up against Josh Taylor in an undisputed matchup in May of 2021. He's trying to rebuild, and it's all wide open because Josh Taylor says he's abandoning all 4 belts, leaving room for former two champion. He had 2 belts, Jose Ramirez, to snatch it up. Drew, he took on a tough Pedraza, Jose Pedraza, who had 1 belt at 135 pounds. There's no denying the Puerto Rican guy can fight. A champion in 2 divisions, now campaigning at 140. Probably no big risk for Jose Ramirez in terms of power. But it nonetheless went the distance. Now, he needed to win, and he needed to, in my opinion, make a statement win, because now that everyone knows Josh Taylor's going to vacate his belt, everybody's going to be vying to be at the top of the heap in the rankings to get a title shot. He absolutely deserves to be at the top of the rankings because he is the former world champion. But what did you think of Jose Ramirez's performance on Friday night?
He's very limited. He's a very limited fighter, and I just don't. If you put him against a really good boxer, that's gonna be the guy. He'll beat Jose Ramirez 9 times out of 10.
And at 140 pounds, okay, now he could be fighting, like you said, any one of these guys that wants to they could be pairing them up, man. Who is a really good boxer? I mean, he already fought Postol, didn't he?
I think Cepeda would give him problems. He already did kind of gave him problems. Pastor, I thought Victor Pastor beat him when they fought. I think Regis Prograis would destroy him. I always thought Regis Prograis would destroy Jose Ramirez. You seen in the Josh Taylor fight how limited Jose Ramirez was. I just don't really think Jose Ramirez is really. Here's the thing. Jose Ramirez, the only chance he has of being a champion is at 140. If he goes to 147, he won't be a champion.
Yeah, there's plenty of talent, right? Like you said, at Top Rank, you got Jose Zepeda, who had a very contested contest with him already. Santiago Media is calling for Chon Zepeda versus Jose Ramirez for the vacant belt. A lot of people don't give Arnold Barboza Jr. from Southern California the respect, but man, I think Arnold Barboza Jr. is absolutely a top contender at 140 pounds. He's even been trying to get the attention of people like Ryan Garcia to fight him because he can't get the big names. You got Arnold Barboza Jr., you've got at 140 pounds, you've got Chon Zepeda, like we talked about earlier, Drew. But what about this? What about Teofimo Lopez moving up to 140? Hell of a fight between 2 big names.
Yeah, but he hasn't had a fight at 140 yet, so I can't put him in that mix.
You know he's
coming off a loss.
You know he's coming off a loss, but you know he's going to want to be ranked very high. A very, very big fight potentially between those 2 guys. Now, I know a lot of people want to see Teofimo Lopez move up the rankings at 140 pounds the right way and earn it, not necessarily just get jumped right into some kind of vacant title shot, which is why Santiago Media just pointed out, and I like what he said, that Chon Zepeda versus Jose Ramirez in a title fight, man. Those guys have some history already. It's a rematch that I would not mind seeing. All right, man. But let me ask the chat. Go ahead and let me know what you guys thought of that Pedraza performance. Pedraza is a very crafty veteran. The guy knows what he's doing in the ring. He was trying to set traps for Jose Ramirez, but I think Jose Ramirez had too much power and too much IQ for those traps. It was very limited. But it wasn't the statement win I was looking for coming off that loss against Josh Taylor, but a win nonetheless that puts him back in that column and in the conversation. Like we said, the doors are going to open up, man. And overall, I got to give Top Rank some credit. I think it was a great card overall. They just need to cut down on the in-between documentary bullshit, man. It's too long. They're stretching out these fights way too long. No wonder people in the audiences are getting hella frustrated and starting fights, man. Nando says Ramirez is a handful for anyone at 140. I still agree. I agree with you, Nando. I look forward to seeing him try to retain and regain his championship titles at 140 pounds. But DAZN, not to be outdone, the city of San Diego. I know Santiago Media lives down there. Not to be outdone, the DAZN card was full of excitement. Drew, I opened up the show talking about the fact that you and I were both on the round table last Thursday, and I got a lot of laughs for changing my vote at the last minute, going with El Rey, Julio Cesar Martinez, who was coming up from weight at 112 pounds. And unless you guys missed the drama on Friday night, the guy missed weight not once, but twice, and the whole fight was in jeopardy of being called off. Let me just respond to Punch Smollett. I'm on the Richard Torres. Are y'all on the Richard Torres
Hell
train?
no.
Punch, I like what I see from him. I think he's going to be very entertaining, but early on, they're going to have to match him up carefully, like they do at Top Rank, and I think they'll do a good job. Hopefully, they will not put him in any mismatches very early on. He didn't have, although he made the Olympic team, Drew, he's not like a fighter that has 100 amateur fights. Richard Torres did not have 100. It was like maybe 50 from what I recall. So it's not like he's been an amateur fighting in the amateur since he was 9, 10, 11 years old, man. It wasn't that long. All right, but let's get back to the DAZN business because DAZN put on a hell of a card. What did you think overall of the DAZN card, Drew? There was a lot of undercard fights. I just really wanted to talk about the two, the co-main and the main event, because the co-main stole the show a bit, in my opinion.
I thought the card was good. I was entertained for the most part. The Law fight was good. I liked the Law fight. You know, like the Chocalatito fight was good for me. I had it 9-3 for Chocalatito. I thought when I made my pick on last Monday and I explained what happened, that's exactly what happened. Experience took over. And as I said on the round table, I never changed my picks. Because, come on, Dave, last time you changed picks, you lost also. Come on, Dave. Don't ever change picks on me again.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, Dave.
Lara Navarrete is a super fight. I don't know I needed. Violence and mayhem guaranteed. Let's get to that co-main, man, because Nando, I tweeted that. I tweeted that exact thing during the fight, and none other than El Bronco Lara, who doesn't have that many Twitter followers, responded to me and liked it with a thumbs up. So El Bronco Lara, or his people running his Twitter account, liked that idea. Apparently, they know each other very well. Let me see here. Oh, no, that's the other picture I was going to show you guys. Where's the one? Lara and Navarrete, of course, Navarrete, the champion at 126 pounds, just one of the champions, but in my opinion, the best talent at 126 pounds, the featherweight division. Lara is an all-action fighter. Apparently, I was reading back his box rec. He's been knocked down by a body shot. So Emiliano Sanchez that he fought, this guy came to fight, man. Emiliano Sanchez had a good trainer. He has a good trainer, but the wrong game plan, bro. He should have tried to box Lara. He got dropped early on in the first round. And he had some moments, though, man. When he got in the trenches, he had some moments rocking Lara, I believe in the third round with the body punch, where Lara tackled him to the floor and then was pretty much begging the ref to help him up. But within, 30 seconds later, he delivered. I mean, these guys delivered to me. Round 3 is one of the round of the year contenders in one of the most fascinating round 3s. Knocks him out in a knockout of the year contender. I mean, the guy flips his legs. Who knows if he tore his ACLs or whatever, because his legs were bent straight backward, delivering a vicious knockout, man. Now, Lara, like El Rey's Julio Cesar Martinez, is a fighter that throws punches with tremendous power. Where was that power at El Rey at 115 pounds? I don't know, but Lara, he can dish it out. He can dish it out, as Warrington from the UK knows, okay? The guy don't want to fight him no more. He shouldn't be fighting him. You bring Lara to the UK and he's going to knock your opponents out. That's it. But a guy like Chocalatito, man, now I'm not saying he's a featherweight champion, but those type of fighters, like we saw in the main event, those kind of fighters by a veteran, not just a veteran, bro, but someone whose fundamentals are that sound like Chocalatito, is going to outbox and embarrass a fighter like Lara. But taking Lara for what he is and the type of fighter Navarrete is, those two would deliver absolute fireworks, man. And I know that a lot of people are buzzing about a potential showdown with those two guys at featherweight. By the way, this weekend coming up is a featherweight fight in which Mick Conlan, okay, who hasn't fought in New York in a while, is fighting for a vacant or the WBA regular title. So he's going to get his shot at a featherweight title. Mick Conlan in the UK, a top-ranked fighter. I'm ready to see what he can do, man. Little Penny is here too. Shout out to Little Penny. And he says, Max Ayo versus Navarrete next at 126. Yeah, I would like to see a unification. Philippines versus Mexico. I would love to see that unification. I don't know how easy it's going to be for Lara to make a fight like that with Top Rank. I don't know who his promoter is, but you always have to take the fights where people are unifying titles first. But Lara versus Navarrete would be absolute fireworks, fan-friendly kind of fight that all of Mexico and every boxing fan should want to see. Little Penny says, bombs away. Exactly. True. You've seen this guy Lara now, El Bronco. He went over to the UK on a whim. I think he was going to fight, Josh Warrington, the former champion at 126 pounds, and upset the shit out of him. Just shock all of the UK, shock a global audience. And here he is on the co-main, delivering another sensational knockout performance. What's your take on this type of fighter, Lara?
He's a spoiler. He's going to be a guy that you wants to put a name on your resume, and you bring him to your hometown, he's going to explode the shit out of it. And he's done it. And like, tell you the truth, the second fight with Willerton went to a no contest, which I don't understand why it went to a no contest and everything, because it was after 4 rounds. So I think the rule was after 4 rounds decision. So, and I understand that I think the British rules are bullshit, in my opinion. Everything about, referees suck. Fuck it.
Drew, Santiago Emilio brought up a great fight. This was on the DAZN card. Angel Tashido, I believe he's nicknamed after an anime character. I don't know much about anime, but Angel Fierro did not look good against JC Burgos. Burgos is a crafty veteran who's been in there with numerous championships. This is a guy who's had title shots. They went to distance, and I believe that fight, if I remember correctly, that was a draw. Which, was that a draw? Shit, I can't remember if that was a draw or not, but please put it in the chat. He didn't look great. He was expected to look great, but listen, veterans can do that, man. Veteran crafty fighters who've been in there where everyone can shock it at the end of the day. But I think Lara really is coming into his peak right now. And he has a strong chance of picking up a title against somebody like Max Ayo, who I wasn't impressed with what he did against a one-handed Gary Russell at all. The Filipino performance, I really expected him, knowing that Gary Russell was basically fighting with one hand, to dominate and even possibly hurt Gary Russell. Just a testament to Gary Russell's boxing skills that he was able to still be in the picture in that fight against Max Ayo with one hand. So I can see why Navarrete is targeting him. Pick up as many straps as you can, unify that division. But for Lara, it's all open, man, at DAZN. Whoever they match him up with, I'm ready to see that. All right, guys, let's talk about this one, because let's be honest, man. Chocalatito, I bet against Chocalatito, and that was stupid as hell. At 35 years old, Drew, in a weight class like 115 pounds, you don't imagine guys to still be in the peak of their game, but he threw a record amount of punches recently as one of his most recent fights. And in this performance, not only did he still throw over 100 punches in round 12, he was landing with almost 50% accuracy, which is bananas, which is why he's getting the accolades the day after amongst boxing hardcore fans and even people who casually watch it. He's getting the rave reviews, the accolades that he deserves, because while they may not look spectacular to like the most common or casual fan of boxing, to people who know, I mean, he's basically a master of the sweet science. He really shut out a guy who has a lot of pop, who's a world champion, and gave him the type of schooling that I haven't seen since Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather. Call me crazy, as we saw Canelo in the audience screaming, but it was kind of like the schooling Floyd Mayweather gave to Canelo, where nothing was landing on Chocolatito. As hard as they came, most of those punches were deflected, parried, blocked. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing after a while, and I want to know your take on that, Drew.
I thought it should have been stopped late in the fight. Like, experience took over youth in this fight. This is a example how experience easily took youth over. Like, if you see the Bam, if you see Martinez's last fight, like, he got caught with a counter and knocked him down.
He did,
and he gets caught with a lot of counters. And like, Chocolatito was nailing combinations on this kid. Like, kid got a couple of good amount of punches in on Chocolatito, but didn't really phase him. Like, Chocolatito kept on firing, kept on landing. I think this was probably a bad move for him to move up to 115 to fight Chocolatito. I know he dared to be great, but this was a mistake. And now, like, this, you gotta know, you ain't gonna know how he's gonna respond to this defeat. Because, to tell you the truth, this was a dominating loss. He got dominated by Chocolatito.
He most definitely got dominated. But now another question that arose is the fact that he missed the scale twice, not once but twice. And it has me concerned how the F is he going to make 112 pounds when he couldn't make 115? And it's not like his camp was that short. I mean, he missed the weight not once but twice, and then the very next day they said, well, Chocolatito agrees to fight you, but so long as you don't come in 10 pounds over, which he did meet that in the morning. But now I'm really concerned about what's going to happen when he moves back down to 112. Is he going to be able to make that weight? Because
that's going to be a huge issue right now. Because if he missed it by that much, it's going to be a bigger issue.
Yes, on Sontea Media, I think you said that you weren't going to go, but it appears like you went to the fight. It says the crowd went crazy for Bronco Lara versus Emiliano Sanchez. It got wild in spots for the main event. The crowd was anti-Chocolatito, if you can believe that, by Choco. Won the crowd over. We got a phone call, guys. Let's take this call real quick because it's from the Stockton area. All right. 209, talk to me.
Hey, what's up, my boys? It's Nopal Boxellanos. How are you guys doing?
Nopal, ¿qué pasa, homie? Man, nice to have you on the Shoeshine. What are your thoughts on this Chocolatito thing or the Emiliano Sanchez versus, Mauricio Lara? We're talking about it. Which one of those you want to tackle?
I wanted to talk specifically of Chocolatito fight. I predicted a 7th round knockout. And I wasn't even. I really didn't pay attention to the circumstances leading to this fight. He was Martinez. I just thought that Chocolatito's way better than Martinez. Martinez is not anywhere close to being as have the experience that Chocolatito has. So I was predicting a 7th round KO, to be honest. But now that I get to hear the circumstances, I guess, a lot was going on. So I wasn't really paying attention. I knew he took it on late notice, but he's saying that he only had like 4 or 5 weeks to prepare. And it really showed, just the fact that he came in overweight and, they gave him a while to come in right to make the weight. And, I think he got it on the 2nd try the next day, And so given those circumstances, he also made the excuse, everybody makes excuses, right? But he said that, the time they caught him, he was, enjoying his victory. He was eating a lot of food, a lot of tamales and stuff, You know how they do it in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
He made it sound like they caught him off guard, just like they did our boy Roberto Duran, you know what I'm saying? Got caught off guard. So, I wanted to say that there's some positive things that I wanted to focus on when it came to this fight is I thought that given the circumstances, I think he did pretty good, He didn't get knocked out as I thought he would. And, like a couple of the judges, not me, the judges, some of them, I guess 2 of the judges gave him 4 rounds each. You know what I mean? So I guess they were thinking he did all right. And, you know, given those circumstances, you know, I was watching the way he was boxing, you know, when he had energy to let his hands go, you know, it looked like for some reason, Chocolatito didn't want to take him out, you know, and in that type of conditioning, you'd figure, you know, a guy with the experience of Chocolatito, he should have took Martinez out. Maybe he went easy on him because he knew that he didn't have a full training camp. And you know what I mean? I know Chocolatito's a very nice dude, so maybe he took it easy on him. But all in all, I think that Ray Martinez, this is going to be a good learning experience, almost like the way that, you know, amateur goes in there against a seasoned pro and gets schooled a little bit. You know, this, you know, if he takes this as a lesson, he's going to see how much he needs to improve. And, you know, going forward, I hope that this helps him.
You know, you're bringing up this thing about looking for all the positives, and I agree with you 100% that there's a lot of positive lessons to be taken from this. For once, I was saying, you know, Canelo was in the audience supporting him and cheering him on, and Canelo got a schooling like that in front of the eyes of almost everyone against Floyd Mayweather, and yet he turns around from that lesson and goes on to become the face of boxing and has been undefeated ever since. So there's no saying that, you know, El Rey won't go back to 112, be the champion, and when his body's ready to move up to 115, that he can't win a title there. But that division is so stacked that everyone's chiming in the chat about fantasy matchups. Nopal, when I went on the round table and went for El Rey at the last minute, you know, I'm talking to even people in my family, and they're telling me he's beaten, you know, Chocolatito's beaten 20 of 21 opponents that were from Mexico. And one of those was considered a gift decision. Yeah. One of them was considered a gift decision. So me wanting to root for El Rey got in the way of me giving good advice on a betting pick, which I should never do that. Like Drew had to correct me, you know, hey, don't ever go against your common sense, you know, and the facts, man. I was rooting for El Rey. I'm always going to root for a Mexicano against Chocolatito. But that being said, Chocolatito is a living legend and a future Hall of Famer. And for me, the fact that he's 35 years old, still at the top of his game, producing performances like that, I want to see him against the Bay Area legend, Filipino legend, Nonito Donaire, at 39 years old. Just 3 pounds separate those two guys. That would be my dream fight. And a little Penny in the audience here, too, in the chat says that that's a fight he would love to see. A super fight, Chocolatito and Nonito Donaire. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Please tell me in the chat who you'd like to see Chocolatito. He has that unfinished business with Estrada. When El Gallo had COVID, a pretty bad case of COVID, and that's why they could not get that fight on. Drew, you think Estrada got a gift decision, a robbery? Would you like to see? Would you like to see this guy get his third shot? Their match, a rubber match here.
That's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
Not going to happen.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think they have to. You know what I mean? Because we got. I mean, I know Chocolatito wants to avenge that, and I think that he's still in good ass shape to do that. You know, he's a hell of a fighter. I even consider him an all-time great. You know, he was once on the pound for pound list #1, and you know he deserves his position. So I definitely think that they're gonna have the trilogy. And as far as the Nonito Donaire fight, that would be a great fight. Why not?
Yeah,
Chocolatito beats Nonito Donaire.
You know, but Nonito Donaire at 118 still has that great power, that sensational power. I don't know if Chocolatito moving up to 118, but I don't doubt Chocolatito could move up to 118 and get a fourth title, be a 4th division champion. I don't doubt he could do it. The thing is, there's that other guy at 118 that we all know, known as the Monster, Inoue. And of course, people would love to see Chocolatito. Is that biting too much off to look for Chocolatito versus the Monster, Inoue? Because with the performance like he put on this weekend, I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good fight too. I mean, I just can't bet against Chocolatito now. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? He's still got it.
man, that'd be a good fight too. But I don't think that he would take that fight, man. No, I think that it's too risky. You know, he's getting a little older, so the best bet for him is just to stay at that division. You know, moving up. What is it? 3 more pounds? I mean, we all saw what happened with him in Rubensai. You know, and I think that these guys, they got a little bit more power, and that's the one thing that Chocolatito could get caught with, one of the one-hitter quitters, you know, and it's, you know, I think that it's not worth it to go after a guy like Monster Inoue, you know, in my opinion. But if he went for it, man, more respect to him, you know.
Yeah, so I just put it up here. This was on Boxing News 24 today, but it says here that Juan Estrada versus Joshua Franco and Bam Rodriguez versus Rungvisai, a doubleheader in the works, man, all in one night. And I know that Sonteo Media posted a lot of stuff, man. Naturally, people are talking about Bam Rodriguez, who just won a title, facing Chocolatito, and I think it's too soon. What's your thoughts? Too soon for a young guy like Bam? He needs some more seasoning?
To take on Rubensai?
Not
Rubensai?
No, to take on Chocolatito.
Too soon. I mean, everybody's saying that he's super special fighter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that if he's really that special, man, that'd be a great fight. But you know, I personally would slow down just a little bit, maybe. But if he was down to take it, man, that'd be a super nice fight.
Yeah, and just the fact that Eddie Hearn's daring to put on the super card all in one night in San Antonio, Texas. These could be headliners on their own account, but wow. Man, I wish I was able to go to something like that, because that fight, that whole card would be fireworks. To have 2 headliners like that, they're not even co-mains, you know what I'm saying? Those are both spectacular fights, and they all lead up to Chocolatito, who doesn't even have the title. You know, they want to put in Estrada versus Joshua Franco, which is the brother of Bam. But man, both brothers headlining a card like that'd be something special, man. That would definitely be something special. So, Nopal, thanks a lot. We're going to wrap up this show and just talk about this weekend's preview for Mick Conlan, who will be fighting for a WBA regular featherweight title. Do you have a pick in that fight? Are you familiar with these fighters?
Who?
Leigh Wood.
Who was that again?
Leigh Wood versus Michael Conlan. This weekend on DAZN.
That's the Irish dude, huh?
Yeah.
That's the Irish dude, huh?
Irish Olympian.
Not really. Yeah, I know who he is, but I'm not familiar with the other guy. So, yeah, thank you for letting me come along, Dave.
Anytime,
What's up,
homie.
Drew? Check you guys out, man.
I appreciate it, Nopal. Take care, man.
You guys have a great show.
You too. Peace out.
I'll be in the chat. Peace out.
All right, man. That was Nopal, who's frequently on Al Chile, an HCP homeboy. Appreciate him calling in, and everyone who's been here. Don't forget to hit the like if you didn't, guys. This weekend, Drew, we got, I don't know how you feel about Michael Conlan, man, because Michael Conlan was chill before COVID. He was making New York his second home, right? And after COVID started, I think he went back to the UK, to Ireland, and now he's been fighting in the UK mainly. But here is his chance. He has not looked spectacular in recent memory, and here is the opportunity. He's a 2-time Olympian. He feels he was robbed once at the Olympics. This is his time to shine against Leigh Wood in the guy's backyard, I believe, in the UK. Do you have a pick? And how do you think these guys stack up against fighters like Navarrete?
Pick Mike Conlan, man. Irish pride, man. It's St. Patrick's Day gonna be soon, man.
Shit! But I thought I was getting shit for going with Rey against Chocolatito because they made it seem like he just went because it's Mexican. Like he didn't base it on age. I think I've heard you criticize Michael Conlan before. Is there any criticisms, or you think he's gone over these professional umps? He's ready to take this title.
It's a vacant title. You know, this guy he should beat. So I gotta see more of him before I can really comment on him. I did criticize him before, and every time I criticize somebody, I have reason to, and tell you the truth, I'm allowed to. So people need to stop crying about me criticizing people.
Michael Conlin's got a really interesting story about corruption and how he feels he was robbed. If you guys have never seen any like documentaries, go and watch that because he kind of exposed what goes on behind the scenes with Olympic scoring. And we've been talking a lot lately about corruption. Everyone's been dedicating shows to the term robbery, gift decisions, and Michael Conlin had a bone to pick with the Olympics. And you know, sometimes these Olympic fighters it doesn't translate into being a great professional fighter. Already it sounds like, Drew, you got a problem with Richard Torres.
Yeah.
So I still got Michael Conlin on this one, man. I don't think too highly of Leigh Wood at 126 pounds. I think he's going to pick up this vacant title, bring it back to New York. As things are opening up more so, he makes New York his second home. And, you know, he draws a great crowd at Madison Square Garden. So if he can get this vacant title, WBA regular title. By the way, I did have this picture, and I want to just go over the landscape. That's not it. Why do I keep getting these old pictures up? That ain't it. Let me see here. Maybe I don't have it. Right now, the featherweight title, Leo Santa Cruz holds the regular WBA super. They call it the super belt. So I don't know what you think about that, man. Super, regular. It sounds like
a fights once a year.
It sounds like a burrito in California, man. It's always, are you getting a regular burrito or are you getting a super burrito? And in that case, Homeboy's got the super burrito championship. So I think it's time to wrap up the Shoeshine. Drew, final thoughts on the sport of boxing this weekend? I thought it was a good time, man.
Yeah, you know, a lot of things happened last week. I made a surprise appearance on the round table, and other people need to step up now, because for talking shit on me not doing it. But it'll likely be my only appearance on the round table because I'll be doing my own thing after the Shoeshine. So
nice.
Thanks, you're welcome, Beeb.
And West Coast Boxing, as we wrap up the show, he goes, what's your thoughts on the young prospect Diego Pacheco? Great KO on Saturday. There was so many prospects and young contenders that fought this weekend. I'm sorry if I overlooked Diego Pacheco. I think Diego Pacheco is in great hands where he's training at right now, and his future is so bright. He's got a natural skill set and that height. He's going to give a lot of people in his division trouble. And he could be a star, you know, probably by the end of this year. A few bigger names, and he could be launching himself into stardom. By the way, Drew, one quick thing. We're talking about middleweights and Jaime Munguia. They are going to force a bid purse against him and help me out with the guy's name. Janabek. But they're going to also give him an option to fight Charlo. Very interesting. You know, it's like...
And guess who he gonna fight? Nobody.
Would you take the interim belt against Janabek? Janabek on social media this weekend saying, let's do it. Kazakh style versus Mexican style. Fight me already. Don't let this go to purse bid. Let's negotiate it right now. Or does he go for the real title? Because Charlo's not getting that Canelo fight. Let me tell you right now, Canelo made that.
No real title, man.
Canelo made that perfectly clear that he ain't fighting Charlo this year. He is booked. He is busy.
I remember he ain't fighting for no title, man.
You don't think he'll fight Charlo?
That's Canelo 2.0 right there. That's Oscar's next Canelo.
And by the way, guys, I'm often harsh on Oakland, California's Devin Haney. Now, Canelo doesn't need to buy 2 chains, gold, and put diamonds in his teeth, but he does drive the most expensive Bugatti I've ever seen in my life, man. His Bugatti is badass. But here's what everyone's really talking about is how is Devin Haney fighting at 135 pounds and his skull, face, height, I don't know, his shoulder width is basically the same as Canelo's walk-around weight. Is Devin Haney a weight bully or what? It looked the same to me, right? Look like the guy's got the same build as Canelo Alvarez, which makes this Canelo Alvarez fight against Dimitri Bivol that much more intriguing, Drew, because San Diego on Friday, they had the press conference and they sized each other up, and Canelo's got a significant size disadvantage.
He's still going to knock Bivol out.
Not that it matters. Not that it matters. but it is a real size disadvantage. How the fuck is Devin Haney the same size as Canelo? Hey, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us on the Shoeshine. Don't forget to check out all of HCP's exciting content. Our boys Al Chile and Chicano Prophet got their show coming up. Look for that one. Look for tomorrow night, D-Styles and Nancy, Boxing Republic. And then Wednesday night, we have the ladies doing their thing with Christine Lopez from Team USA Boxing. And of course, the roundtable on Thursday night. And of course, we got Mondays with Amilcar and Kenny. Shout out to them. Shout out to Long Live Boxing on Sundays. All your boxing content is right here on the HCP network. Make sure you hit subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram page. I'm just trying to make some new friends and followers and supporters on Shoeshine_boxing. Drew, I'll see you next week. Peace.